Hello and welcome. Name's Derek, and I sell physical media on eBay, and I make videos about that. This is a what sold video. Stop the music. It's funny because I'm over here looking at this thing here. Saw the name Jonah. I was trying to think, and again, I forgot the name of the song, but it was actually by Judah and the Lion. But I kept saying Jonah and the Whale when I was typing it up. It's like Jonah and the Whale superhero song. And it was actually a song by Chainsmokers and Coldplay. And each time I was looking it up, I kept typing up Jonah. And I don't know, this was a week ago. I was trying to find it. Not exactly why, but I was. I saw that Jonah and it reminded me of that. So it's really not, it's 200 and change. And I want to say it's 6. And I wasn't going to make a video because it was under 200 until a couple minutes ago. And I heard my phone go off. Yeah, it's about 220 for 6 items, 176 for the total purchase. And I can't say total. Subtotal. The listed price, maybe that's what I'll say. It's 220 in sales and 177 purchase price. Subtotal. I don't know. Instead of saying product cost received or something like that, because that makes sense a little. But if I say product cost, people are like, well, is that how much you paid for it? Not that anybody's asked. But it is only 6, and it's going to be a really short video. Which is fine, but I don't have much of anything to do besides go to an appointment at 1 o'clock, and then that appointment takes me somewhere else. So I got to go someplace else. And then there's a couple stores at each place where I'm going. One is down by Mayfield, and I didn't go to Mayfield the other day. So whatever today is, it's going to be kind of chopped because it's an afternoon appointment. Afternoon delight. Afternoon delight. D9. Wanted. Dead or alive. D9. Wanted. Dead or alive. 13. Get up. Yeah, that is a book. It is. B24. Inside the Aquarium. Hardcover. No barcode. $57. So when I went back there to get that book, I see that some of that scrap is still kind of there in the way. So I did call up Board Sort, which is just over an hour from here in Alliance. And I'm familiar with Alliance in that area. But I called them up, and I talked to the guy, I forget his name now. Eric, maybe? Something like that. But it's going to be a while till I head down there. So I will need to sort the boards and how much stuff is on them is one way how to say it. And I don't have a whole lot. I mean, what I have barely fits in one of these boxes. And he's like, well, if it's not separated, then I was like, it's in like the size of a shoebox. He's like, if it's not separated, it's going in as mix. All right, well, I really don't think there's anything that's going to be a difference, but it is going to be a learning experience. So That is one of the things I will do, is kind of set those aside and go through those. And he said the same thing about the metals, that you're going to want to separate. Or I'm going to want to separate the brass and the aluminum and the copper. It doesn't matter. I did hear a train. Yeah, that one's on this track. The one that was in yesterday's sourced video. So if you haven't seen that one, for you train people, at the end is me standing in the parking lot here, and just the train is right there. If I was a baseball player, I could hit a baseball to where that train is at on the tracks from where I was on the parking lot, and even from here to where I was on the parking lot is still only like 50 feet, maybe 80. But he said the scrap yards are going to want them separated. So I don't really have a whole lot. I guess it's just going to be I accrue it, which I guess is good because it's going to take time to accrue that, and over that time, it's just going to go up in value. Gives me more things to tinker with. Way off topic, and all that. So $57 book, C47 Gothic Archies. Should be relatively down here. Gothic Archies. Tragic treasury songs from series of unfortunate events. $23. People pick up on context. For the most part, pick up on context. If someone says 100 things and 2% of them are not 100% easily understood, someone could be like, oh, well, he said those two things. He's a freaking liar. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I made this channel, and I don't even know why I'm even going off on this, but I made this channel for the intent to let people know that of all the decades I've been selling, physical media seems to be doing the sales part of reselling a lot better than all the other categories that I sold in. Keep in mind, if I have all these thrift stores around where I'm at least 40 within under an hour. You can imagine, and where the other places I've lived, there's always bunches of thrift stores. I mean, the last place we lived from here was an hour south. That gave me 4 directions to go. Where I live now, I've only got 3 directions to go for thrift stores, and there's still 40 of them. If I was going to those thrift stores then, otherwise getting anything but media, the availability and quantity of items that were there, I did everything but clothes. Well, not everything, but I did a lot of stuff. I would go up and down the kitchenwares, the housewares, the hard goods, the school art, office, and home supply stuff, all that different kind of stuff. The little bags of different things, all the different electronics, dishes, appliances, small appliances, all these other different categories. And I was never had enough to satiate the sales amount. Never. I mean, it was a lot of smalls, and if I get into electronics, I don't know how many cameras I tested right here on the spot with the types of batteries, the 123 battery, the size C123, whatever they are, and the different button I got a little container that's got all kinds of button batteries, and I would test these different things, taking time and like, oh, that doesn't, and then I have to take something apart and kind of move a little piece of dust, and now it works completely. So I've got an hour wrapped up in a $30 camera. I just got tired of the returns, and people get like, "That's not the right one." Like, well, if you send it back, and if the serial numbers are changed, or you're sending back a different one, or it's a different condition, even with seller protections, and with free shipping, I'm not going to explain the free shipping. When you do a refund, you get more money back by doing free shipping. than you do charging shipping. Break that math down sometime and then come back and tell me that I'm wrong. So I got so tired of all the different, this calculator doesn't work, this remote doesn't pick up, but everything was tested. 1 out of every 10, I don't know, speculating here. Now for physical media, what I'm putting out 300 items a month, I might get, for physical media, I might get 1 a month. Man, I do have one coming back with that, the one little road trip guy. The woman says that the DVDs don't play, and they are absolutely mint. Oh, they don't play. Oh no, I'm also getting a cassette back because an absolutely mint tape. They say it plays back all wobbly. Then it's your player. It's not the tape. I mean, unless something yeah. I mean, she says it's coming back wobbly. So you can demagnetize a tape, but when it's demagnetized, that's it. You're not getting anything back. You put a big enough magnet over one of those tapes, it's realigning every single one of those. We're like, oh no, it only picked this little part on the tape. When I demagnetize it, I only picked that little part. No, it wipes it all. So I mean, it's like you think. Either way, okay. Where I was going with that. Oh yeah, so sometimes I could be wrong. I could be incorrect. I don't get ridiculed for it, and I don't get comments about it. But it's still, if you have questions, ask. It's like the shirt I had on. Don't be judgmental. Don't be like, oh, he's wrong. He doesn't. Be curious. Ask me questions. Oh, why did you say it like that? It makes sense. I've been selling for a long time in physical media for 5 years, and I'm still likely to get something incorrect. But if you pick one incorrect thing over the entire mounding of what I've learned and try to help people with information, and a lot of it's basic information, but it's something that's like, oh yeah, heck yeah, I will look for something in that kind of poppy yellowish color right there, and it has the hammer and sickle from Russia. Maybe it's just another Russia propaganda, but it probably is. The making of a top Soviet spy. Yeah, so propaganda in some way. Okay. I'm just trying to make this video longer than what I knew it would be if I wasn't talking. And if I happen to have words in them that are cohesive with each other, USB, Cleveland Orchestra. So this one I know I listed a little higher because there weren't much of any. Yeah, for this one here, this USB Cleveland Orchestra Mozart and Shostakovich. This specific one, I didn't find any previous sales. Now, these ones that kind of look like this were like 30 to 40 bucks. Mine, it was showing like 48.22. Someone came in for 40 bucks. I'm like, sure. And it's actually going international. Before, Cleveland Orchestra, I forget what I paid. Let's just say $1. It turned into 40 bucks. I mean, I guess me remembering that Cleveland Orchestra stuff is, especially since it doesn't have a barcode, is worth it to look up. I remember. That's what I'll look up. And I'll spend more time. Now I know, but I will spend that extra time to ensure. It's not like, oh, it's an orchestra, it's a classical, I'm going to set it down and not even ever look at it because it's a classical. The more I learn, the more information that you all get. And I mean, I'm sounding like I'm some really, really big YouTuber with 100K. And a lot of those with that many subs and that much. I remember commenting on, this is like right after I started my YouTube. I remember commenting on someone else's channel, and they were calling out like a bunch of the BS social media reseller people. And wherever it was, and I timestamped in there, I was like, yeah, a lot of these you could just tell are just full of bullshit. They don't know. And that person, or they know they're just doing it for, the YouTube money, what have you. And although that has some credence to it, they did respond to like, yeah, seasoned and inexperienced sellers can. It's always easier to spot the people that are full of. So I was experienced and seasoned enough, and I don't remember which person that they brought, which channel, which person they brought up or they were representing. I'm like, oh, well, that person said that in this video. They're like, no, that's 100% wrong. And it's not even that it was a chance for later on in the video that they are critiquing that the person was like that person's entire video was based off of one wrong premise and they just went with it. And you can't build a premise, believe that premise, and then only use that premise as fact. Go find somewhere that says, yes, I have a theory. All right, now you're going to have to start figuring out on what you need. So now you have a hypothesis. So you work on that. So what do you have that you could prove or disprove your hypothesis? Can you rule it in or rule it out? And people are like, well, I don't know. I'm just going to make something up and I'm going to write with it. It doesn't work that way. And people get called out for it. I try not to be that. But I'm not going to make one video specifically on XYZ. This is what I bought. This is what sold. If you have questions otherwise, I started going live on Sundays at pretty much 6 p.m. Eastern, just putting inventory away. That is people's chance to come talk to me. I'm not here for the YouTube. Well, even if I had 100,000, that YouTube money would be great. But I have a feeling. Mark this day. All right, the first 50 degree, well, probably the first 50 degree day in March of 2026. Mark this day. Derek said when he gets 100K, he's not really going to do it for the YouTube money, but it would be great. But I would still keep my videos pretty much like, it'd be better quality stuff, but it'd still be, this is what I bought, this is what I sold, and maybe a little bit of story in between. Reminds me of me right now. So these Keith Green tapes, this is where my little bit of wit and knowledge comes in on how this turned into a $30 sale. Let me get them. All right, so I have these two Sparrow tracks. So I'm going to guess Sparrow tracks, just because I see these frequently enough, is just like a distributor or they do something very specific. I am not sure on what it is, but we'll go with that. And down at the Goodwill in Orville is east of here. Orville is plenty south. Orville, Smuckers. So these were on the shelf like that, and I saw Keith Green, and I'm familiar enough with Keith Green to know that most of Keith Green's stuff that I've bought have sold. If I have something that's still Keith Green in my inventory, then it's priced too high. So these are Keith Green on the Sparrow tracks. The original soundtrack as recorded by Keith Green on No Compromise. Maybe No Compromise was a TV show. I don't know. Words and music by Keith Green, lyrics and lead sheet enclosed. So cassettes down there, I think, were 49 cents or 79 cents. So there's not much really in this. Keith Green and Steve Green. Steve Green does like a lot of contemporary, more kids music and stuff. And I have some, like, it's kind of like a Cedarmont Kids. It's more very religious based. But Keith Green is something, completely different. These, when I was looking them up, the Steve Green were about the only ones that were coming up under Sparrow tracks. Keith Green, none are coming up. These are going to be, oddly to me, to the way I'm seeing it, it's going to be worth a little more than $10 a cassette. Let's put them up for 30. Somebody, some Keith Green fan somewhere is just going to be typing in Keith Green, and they're going to look through music or look through cassettes or whichever. Like, I don't know that specific Keith Green. You know what? I'm a Keith Green collector. Boom. Now they got it. So knowing your artists, not all of them, there was a ton I don't know. But with no barcode, kind of be familiar with what is that? Who is that? Do I remember selling a Keith Green? Do I remember selling a Steve Green? Do I remember this? Do I remember Stray Cats? You know, I mean, a lot of these other ones are in here, bands that, you know, do I remember the Cathedrals or Cathedral Quartet? I mean, I sold a few of those, and I still have 2 more left. Camp Meeting, yeah. They don't sell fast, but the Canton Spirituals, yes, I've sold that. Anyhow, so those cassettes are $30. And we have a DVD. So, Tooney, yeah, Robin Tooney from The Craft. Well, from other things, but The Craft, a lot of people remember her from. Well, my age. Okay, hold on. Why does my shirt, the threading is inside out? But the print, huh. Yeah, that's probably why it was a discount shirt. So I could just have the red shirt and wear it the correct way, or this way, which could also be the correct way. Anyhow, so $13. So yeah, I actually say that I ate up a lot more of time than I thought. So that's gonna wrap that one up. Like what you heard, like what you saw, like what you learned. Non-barcode books. Go with that. It's pretty easy. If the title, if the spine, if a word in the title, if an image or an icon or an emblem, there's something. I mean, if you're telling yourself, if you second guess yourself for at least 2 seconds, just grab it. Just do it. And I remember where I was when I got this, the Goodwill, all the way back in like the back end of Talmadge. It was quite a few months ago, but you know, glad I did. $57. And I had to hand type it and look it up, and I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't give it enough time. With most of everything else you buy, give it enough time. So anything you're going up, comment down below, subscribe, share. Those are all free. They help me, help you. So we can help other people with physical media, eBay, that stuff. All right, appreciate it. Thank you.